Yes guys, just a quick one for filling or shading around the outside of this writing to leave the space negative. So I'm travelling across back and forth and I'm almost hovering my needle onto the skin and I'm moving quite slow, quite gentle and very direct. Like I'm physically watching the needle's contact. And when I'm tucking into the corners, I'm offsetting the angle of my needle to ensure that the ink's getting saturated right into that corner. And I'm essentially just layering up a little soft blend or a soft shade over there. I'm not trying to shade it jet black. I'm just gliding in a nice shade in all these shapes. When I've outlined it, you can see the outline's quite faint because I glided over the outline and I literally used a 5RL and I glided these lines in really delicate and really fast, so they're not like deep, heavily saturated lines. And if you watch again now, you'll see I'm always putting my Vaselinium on and stretching the skin, and then I'm just, each shape I'm going in, I'm just travelling the shape back and forth. Vision like, imagine a printer travelling across a piece of paper and moving back and forth, printing on the picture slowly. It's a little bit like that. I'm travelling across and layering the shade up. So, done one little pass over that, I can just go again. Nice and gentle. Trick is with this, I'm moving quite slow as well. You don't have to find yourself ragging your shading really aggressively. You're just going to snag onto the skin and leave quite harsh shading. This negative shading where you're shading around the outside of like writing and leaving the centre as the skin can be quite difficult for people at first when they're first starting out. And what it is, it's the maneuverability of the needle that they find quite tricky, getting into the little tight spots. So moving in this way is really helpful. If you notice each one I'm doing as well, I'm barely needing to go over it a second time. So like here I can travel forward and I can start to contour my needle along that shape. Having control of your needle and watching where the needle's contacting and how much pressure you're applying is a much more skilled way to develop, and it's going to give you more manoeuvrability and make you a much better artist. If you're just ragging that needle across the skin aimlessly and hoping for the best, you're kind of tattoo into a much lower standard. So in here, just travel forward. Just because I've visited each area as well, it doesn't mean I can't go back. Once I've developed all these shapes, as I'm progressing, I can see if anything needs a second pass over it. So if you watch up here now, and travel every time I'm going back and forth, I'm revisiting or eating back into the bit that I've previously done. So it's kind of having a couple of needle passes anyway. And like I said, I'm moving quite slow, really gently. But most importantly, I'm moving precise. to ensure I'm getting an even spread across with the shade. Going back in down here, just give it a clean. Just gliding in on this area. Doesn't matter which direction you're moving in, as long as you're consistently giving an even pass across the shape. So I can change my angles, I can go in different directions. And make sure that I'm tucking that shading in tight into the lined edges. Becoming comfortable at shading into areas like this will massively level up your ability to work on more dynamic pieces and layer things up. Because this is quite a soft shade, I'm not having to go over it a ridiculous amount of times. I'm not trying to, like I said, make the shading really heavy. It's quite a lightly shaded piece in this section, so couple of passes and then I can move on. I'd say a really useful tip for this would be to just take your time. By moving carefully, you're actually working quite fast and efficiently. And you'll see it just slowly come together. And the fact that you're getting it in accurately, it means that you're not just going back to do areas multiple times.